An increase in suicides in the Washington County Jail.
And emergency shelters are getting ready for the winter. Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 14 News. I'm Ryan Schwertfeger.
And I'm Matt Cole. The Washington County Jail has launched investigations into the rather high amounts of suicides within its inmates recently. Warden John Temmis did not present a line item for suicide prevention, but said in response to a question from a reporter that he will ask the county to advertise as soon as possible for proposals that would better enhance our program of handling inmates with mental health problems. There are 3 full-time nurses at the jail, but Temmis is requesting a 4th full-time position to cover for times when the 3 have days off, are on vacation, or are sick to prevent further incidents.
Well, this week has been nice weather-wise. We did get a glimpse of the cold weather that is to come not too long ago. Those cold temperatures were quite a reminder, though, to those in Greene County who want to make sure that emergency shelters are ready to go for the winter. Currently, Greene County has 7 locations set up to be emergency cold shelters in case of an emergency in Jefferson, Waynesburg, Nineveh, Nemacolin, and Rich Hill. Health, government, and emergency service leaders in the county are currently discussing how they could better prepare for this winter's brutal cold temperatures, in addition to seeing how they can better serve those who need a safe, warm place to be during cold days and frigid nights.
Greene County Commissioners met yesterday to take action in acquiring property that would extend and develop the Green River Trail. At the meeting, commissioners agreed to place a motion to begin condemnation proceedings to acquire the property from a private owner south of the existing trail. Once it acquires the land, the county will be able to extend the length of the trail by 11,300 feet, or just over 2 miles. Land that the county plans to acquire is appraised at less than $10,000 and would be the first extension to the trail since 2007.
The First Presbyterian Church in Waynesburg will be hosting a mystery dinner theater this Saturday, October 24th. The fundraiser, which takes place at 6:30 p.m., includes a full meal and the production of No Harm, No Foul, which was written by the church's director of music. The play will require the audience to help solve the mystery at hand to figure out what really did go wrong. All proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards the church's mission trips. Tickets are $25 each and can be ordered by calling the church office at 724-627-6006.
Coming up next, a king cobra on the loose in Florida and powerful footage from Syria. Stay tuned.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And shelter pets make super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a shelter pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
The owner of a king cobra in Florida has run into trouble after the venomous snake escaped from its holding area for over a month.
He looks better now than he did a few days ago.
Elvis, the king cobra snake that escaped from his cage for more than a month, now sits in a new cage with better locks and material used to build it. His owner, Mike Kennedy, says the garage that all of his venomous snakes are in has since been secured and sealed.
Whether it was my fault or not, it still is. I accept that responsibility, you know, and I understand their fears.
Speaking to us for the first time, Kennedy says the 8-foot king cobra was able to slip out of his water-damaged cage after a tree put a hole in his garage.
I was still pretty convinced that there was no way he could have gotten out of this building.
That's why he says he spent hours searching the building and property. But by the time he reported to the FWC, it was too late. The state cited him for not reporting the escape immediately. It was eventually found more than a month later, a half-mile away, underneath a resident's clothes dryer. The FWC recently sent him this letter, planning to take away his venomous reptile license, after the state says this wasn't the first, but the third time one of his snakes escaped since 2001.
The probability of him hurting somebody were extremely low.
Kennedy tells us he can't comment on specifics of the pending case for legal reasons, but he maintains that this was an accident and won't happen again.
Really feel bad, and I'm deeply sorry for causing that trouble to other people. That's not what we're here for, and that's not what we want to ever see. And
CNN has obtained powerful footage from southern Aleppo in Syria where Russian airstrikes are hitting rebel targets. One fighter tells CNN this attack was unlike anything he's ever seen before. CNN's Nick Patton-Walsh has the story.
This is what it's like on the receiving end of the Russian-backed offensive south of Aleppo. The moderate rebel fighter, now lying flat, sent us these pictures, saying it was the worst assault he'd ever seen. Aided by drones that they also target. The Russian strikes seem to hit civilians most, not us rebels, says this fighter, before listing the several villages they've lost in recent days. These eyes in the sky seem to be speeding the regime advance. The fabled Tau missile, an anti-tank rocket supplied by rebels, often by the US, hitting regime armor here. It helped rebels take ground fast recently, but many more are needed for them to hold it now. We're here to block the Russian and Iranian occupation, vows this commander with the Army of Islam. But be in no doubt, this rallying call may be drowned out by the noise of Russian jets. And the noise of rumbling armor. Syrian state TV showing, while their president briefly visited Moscow, how they are advancing, ramming it home, where in the south is now theirs. These images helping suggest why 50,000 civilians may now be on the move. One rebel caught this frontline volley on a body camera. Such high-tech intimacy in a fight that can seem so brutally medieval, where a new power is changing the balance, but not lessening the old threat to those helpless caught in the middle. Nick Patton-Walsh, CNN, Gaziantep.
Police in Tallahassee, Florida are investigating a fatal workplace accident Wednesday at Florida State University. An employee of the National High Magnetic Field Laboratory at FSU died while working on a magnetic construction project. Another employee suffered minor injuries. Further details of the accident have not been released. The MagLab website says its high-level research is recognized nationally and internationally, and that the lab makes significant contributions to science, technology, engineering, and math education.
A Border Patrol officer shot and killed a man along California's border with Mexico. The shooting happened at the Calexo downtown port of entry. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the incident occurred shortly after midnight when a man on a bicycle rode into one of the crossing lanes, got off his bike with a knife in his hand, and approached the officer. Police and the Department of Homeland Security are investigating. Officials say officers performed CPR on the man until paramedics arrived. The man was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital, and the officer was not injured.
Coming up next, changes to the Pennsylvania Turnpike and a Duquesne man to stand trial for a drive-by shooting.
we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
Emergency call boxes on the Pennsylvania Turnpike may soon disappear as a cost-saving measure. The State Senate Transportation Committee is investigating whether call boxes along the turnpike can be removed due to the commonplace and use of cell phones. It is estimated that if all boxes are removed, the state would save $200,000 annually. Call boxes have slowly been removed over the last decade, with the number dwindling from over 18,000 boxes in 2000 to just under 2,000 boxes in 2012. The turnpike is looking into whether dead zones exist in any stretch of the roadway as a reason to keep at least some of the call boxes operating.
A judge ordered a Duquesne man to stand in trial in an August drive-by shooting in Hazelwood that wounded another man on Tuesday. 21-year-old Deontay Hilliard was held for court on charges of attempted homicide and aggravated assault. The incident occurred around 9 a.m. on August 22nd in the 100 block of Flowers Avenue when someone in a car opened fire on a crowd standing on the sidewalk. Firefighters responded and helped a male victim about 20 years old. Pittsburgh Public Safety spokeswoman Sonia Toller said that he was released from UPMC Presbyterian Hospital.
The man who killed K-9 cop Rocco has just been given more time in prison. John Rush, who assaulted police officers and killed the police dog Rocco in 2014, had been sentenced to 17 to 44 years in prison this past March. However, it was just recently discovered that in committing the crime in 2014, Rush also violated his probation from a conviction against him from 2013. Common Pleas Judge Jill Ramos ruled that that needed to be addressed and added another 1 to 3 years onto his sentence.
A Bradenton, Florida man named Mark Mitchell recently bought a baseball bat from the 1930s that was used by the Pittsburgh Crawfords, one of the best teams ever assembled. Mitchell also collects African-American cultural artifacts, but considers this bat that he bought for $1,126 in 2009 to be one of the most important items in his 4,000-piece collection. Rather than auction it, Mitchell would like to sell the bat directly to an institution or an individual who would put it on display, like, say, the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Western Pennsylvania Sports Museum. Mitchell believes the bat is worth as much as ones used by Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig that sell at auctions for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but is willing to give that up to give it back to the city of Pittsburgh.
Coming up next, Waynesburg University holds its second coffee house of the semester, and Fusion comes to Thayer Hall.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Tuesday night, Waynesburg students flocked to the Beehive for the second coffee house of the semester. Josh Logan, an artist who finished in 11th place on Season 5 of The Voice, performed to those who came out. Among his original songs, he also performed hits by artists who inspire him, such as Stevie Wonder and Pearl Jam. The Student Activities Board, who hosted the event, provided coffee and cookies.
Every Thursday night in Thayer, join sophomore Andy Burnett as he hosts Fusion, a Bible study with a twist. Going from 8:30 to 10, those who come out will experience worship time unlike any other. With the time being filled with fun, games, and praise, it will surely live up to the hype. Everyone on campus is invited to it, and people are encouraged to bring their friends.
Kind Bar is a healthy snack bar that is perfect for those seeking a healthy diet. Were handed out for free Wednesday to those who participated in evening yoga in Johnson Commons. The Waynesburg PRSSA chapter teamed up with the WU SAB and swarmed to bring this event to campus. Students got to try these new bars while also having the chance at a raffle basket.
As a part of USA Today's nationwide Make a Difference Day effort, Waynesburg is joining the fight to make a difference. Titled Woo Make a Difference Day, over 10 events will be going on Saturday, October 24th, where students will have a chance to give back to the community. With events going on at the home football game and around town, make sure you show others how you plan to make a difference.
And coming up next, Tyler McCoy has your Channel 14 Business Report.
Will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
With your Channel 14 Business Report, I'm Tyler McCoy. A federal agency warns of scammers capitalizing on new rules in the credit card industry. Karen Kafa explains in today's Consumer Watch.
The credit card industry is currently in the midst of a massive change, swiping the classic stripe and swipe for the new chip-enabled cards aimed at offering better card security. Last month, before a key date, industry analyst Matt Schultz of creditcards.com said it was likely to be confusing and slow.
It's the biggest change in the way we've used credit cards in decades, and people aren't ready yet. There's a lot of confusion out there.
The recent incentive for banks to get new cards to consumers, on October 1st, the major credit card network shifted fraud liability to whichever side of the transaction hasn't yet made an upgrade to new technology, the bank or the retailer. But not everyone has a chip-enabled card yet, and now the Federal Trade Commission warns that scammers are capitalizing on confusion. The FTC says scammers are sending fake emails that seem to be from a credit card issuer asking for valuable personal information in order to send a new card. In some cases, the scam asks consumers to click on a link, which could install malware. The FTC says consumers should only enter personal data online when they've typed in the web address themselves and can see the site is secure. Not sure if an email is legit? The FTC says to call your credit card company to confirm. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
A U.S. billionaire wants to lure U.S. companies back home. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn announced he's spending $150 million to bring businesses back to the U.S. He says American companies are being double taxed when they try to bring their profits back home after having relocated abroad. In an interview with CNN's Poppy Harlow, Icahn said he's setting up a super PAC to persuade Congress to change the corporate tax code. So far, he claims support from at least 40 congressional Democrats. Apple is giving its iPhone users new ways to express themselves. The tech company released an update to its mobile operating system Wednesday. It includes more than 150 new emoji characters. There's a burrito, new happy faces, religious buildings, a middle finger, and even a giant hunk of cheese. The organization in charge of the emoji standard previously added skin tone options for a number of people emojis. Now it's deliberating on which emojis to add next year. Early contenders include an avocado, a selfie hand, a tumbler of whiskey, and a shark. Everything may not be awesome this holiday season for Lego. The Danish toy maker says it will run short of its iconic plastic bricks this Christmas. That means it won't be able to make enough toys for the holidays. A Lego spokesman said shortages are likely to affect parts of Europe, but did not elaborate. Business has been booming at Lego in recent years, thanks in part due to the popularity of the Lego Movie. But the company admits they are struggling with growing demand. Lego is expanding factories in Mexico, Hungary, and Denmark to deal with demand, but they won't be fully operational until 2020. Up next, stay tuned for your sports report with David Osepic.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
I'm David Osepic here with your Jacket Sports Update. The Waynesburg men's soccer team lost to St. Vincent yesterday 5-1, dropping them to 1-13-1 with only 3 games left in the season. The Bearcats jumped out to a 4-0 lead, and despite an even stat sheet, the Yellow Jackets just couldn't get back into the game. Senior Victor Brown scored Waynesburg's lone goal, and senior goalkeeper Nathan Rebar made 3 saves while giving up 4 of St. Vincent's 5 goals. Waynesburg returns home on Saturday to John F. Wiley Stadium for the start of a 3-game homestand to end the season. The Yellow Jackets will take on Case Western Reserve starting at 6 o'clock. The Waynesburg women's soccer team was also in action yesterday against St. Vincent, losing the contest 3-2. The Yellow Jackets built a 2-0 lead thanks to goals by Melanie Byler and Nikki Davis. Unfortunately, in a span of 2 minutes late in the game, the Bearcats tied the contest at 2 goals apiece to force overtime, where they would eventually go on to win the game. The Yellow Jackets will be back in action on Saturday as they travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Chatham Cougars. The start time for the game is at 2 o'clock. The Waynesburg women's volleyball team lost its annual Dig Pink game to St. Vincent yesterday, 3-0. The Yellow Jackets were very competitive, losing 3 close sets, 25-20, 25-23, and 25-19. Waynesburg was led by senior Courtney Skinner, who had a double-double with 10 kills and 17 digs. She also got help from freshman Sydney Ayers, who pitched in with 26 assists. Waynesburg is set to host Westminster this Saturday at the Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse with a match starting at 11 a.m. Congratulations to Jerry Lawman and Julie Gerber on being named this week's Waynesburg Athletes of the Week. Lawman, a senior football player, had an outstanding game this past Saturday as he posted 134 yards on the ground on 27 carries. So far this season, Lawman has rushed for 675 yards and 7 touchdowns. Equally as impressive was sophomore cross-country runner Julie Gerber, who finished 8th in the Gettysburg Invitational this past weekend, helping the Yellow Jackets to a 4th-place finish out of 26 teams. Again, congratulations to both athletes on their accomplishment. Coming up next, Anthony Kahn has your weather report. Stay tuned.
A full life measured in seats starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
In the Channel 14 Weather Center, I'm 2 degrees here in Waynesburg and partly cloudy, and unfortunately that's the highest temperature we're going to see for a little while here on out. Looking ahead at our 5-day forecast, we will see on Friday a high of 64 and a low of 63. But break out those umbrellas though. For Saturday we're looking at some showers in the afternoon despite a high of 70 degrees. On Sunday, heading to church perhaps, we'll see some puddles left over from the previous day, so break out those rain boots, but don't expect any more rain to come your way. We'll see a drop in temperature with a high of 59 and a low of 36. Moving on to Monday, as we start the work week, we'll see a high of 63, and really Tuesday will bring out much of the same with a slightly higher temperature of 64 degrees and a low of 45. Now we'll see some of these weather characteristics, common in the fall season, but it appears that, the sun just isn't quite ready to really hide from us quite yet.
Well, that's good. Sticking around, right?
Most certainly, and I'll have to make sure maybe get those rain boots ready for Sunday when I do go to church.
The puddles.
Thank you very much,
Absolutely.
Mr. Khan.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Channel 14 News this evening.
You can watch us every Thursday at 5 o'clock right here on Channel 14. Thanks for joining us.